Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm excited to have our next guest on today. Thank you for tuning in wherever you are, driving around in your car, on your your iPod, your iPhone, wherever you found my podcast today, possibly YouTube. Thank you for spending some time with us. Today, we're talking about the purpose-driven life, finding your potential, finding your passion. We're still talking about the 5 tenets today, and I have an incredible guest today. My guest has performed on some of the largest stages in the world. She has developed her talent, and she has risen to the top of her field in dancing and in cheerleading. Miss Jennifer Chang is with us today. Miss Jennifer was a Miami Dolphins cheerleader and captain. The last most recent of events has brought her to some performances all around the world. Jennifer, how are you doing today? Thanks for taking some time out today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. I'm very well, thank you.
I'm so glad that you had to have some time for us and for our audience today. I'm excited to get into these topics with you. And just a quick reminder, this is a place that we've never been in time, where we're dealing and what we're dealing with today, as if I don't need to remind people, we're in a state of change right now. And whatever has been brought about us by this coronavirus, it's not come to stay. This has come to pass. And so part of our mindset is getting focused on what I like to call the 5 tenets. Now, a tenet is a core belief, okay? It's something that is true for an organization or an individual. In our case, when we're talking about this, it's for the purposes of defining what someone believes to be true about themselves. And it's especially important right now to focus on what we believe about and what we believe that we can achieve in life. And so we're talking about rising above mediocrity. We're talking about, elevating our standards, visualizing the best versions of ourselves. We're talking about living up to our highest potential, and we're talking about fulfilling our purpose. But for the time being, Jennifer, I'd like to just have you, I want to give you the floor. And I want you to, for our listeners that don't know you and maybe never heard you, tell us a little bit more about Jennifer Chang.
Right. Well, my name is Jennifer Chang. Like you mentioned, I was actually born in Cuba. I came to Miami, Florida when I was 9 years old. Been living here ever since. I dance ever since I turned 5. That's been my greatest passion ever. I danced in college. I danced in a couple of dance companies. And then I became a Dolphins cheerleader. That was in 2016 when the Dolphins did international auditions. I was able to represent Cuba, and I danced with my sister as well. She made the team. I became captain my last season, and I am also a real estate agent. At the same time, I'm a journalist. I just graduated from FIU with my broadcast media degree, and I am working with Lemon City Live. I do stories with my sister as well. She's also a journalist, and I do community events, and I also interview athletes.
Wow, that's amazing. And it's quite a full schedule and quite a full plate of things that you're involved in. And you're a go-getter in life, Jennifer. That's exactly the passion that I have, is finding people that pursue what it is that they're capable of doing. So we're going to get into your passions. We're going to get into what you're accomplishing. And so thanks for that introduction. I want to talk about rising above mediocrity. You have an incredible story. You came from Cuba, and at a very early age, you decided that this is what I want to do. A lot of people don't find that passion early on in life. You found it early, and you've stuck. Yeah. It served you well. So talk about where maybe one time in your life where you decided that, this is important to rise above mediocrity. How did that serve you? How'd that happen?
Yeah, well, for me, I feel like I've always loved dance because I started very little. But the moment I had a knee surgery, and that was really hard. And my doctors said it was going to be really difficult for me to start walking again. That's when I got really stubborn, and I was like, that cannot be my life, I cannot do this. And I started to really miss my dancing, and I just said, I want to dance again. So I pretty much focused and put all my energy into, okay, I have to walk again. And then eventually I have to learn how to dance, even if it takes such a long time, I really didn't care for that. So for me, I feel like you have to have a passion, but also you have to educate yourself. And even if you start from zero, because that happened to me. I had to start from zero. Learning how to walk again was so hard. And then becoming, making it to the big leagues, that was not easy. So for me, it's really important to educate yourself, study, practice, being disciplined. That's my number one thing.
I'm sure that your comments just now are going to ring true with a lot of people. Who knew that some major injury would propel you to do better and rise above mediocrity? And you can probably appreciate this story. And I just told this with my last podcast, but that's okay. There was a man in, I think it was Spain, and he was a professional soccer player, and he had a leg, I think it was a leg injury. And it was like you, he's a professional. He was following his passion, but it ended his soccer career. But while he was recovering, he found a passion to play the guitar. And the nurse that was recovering at the hospital gave him a guitar and believed in him. So he found his voice and he started to play. But people said, you know what are you doing? You're too old for this. There's no way you can make it at this. They laughed at him, but he stuck with it because he rose above that mediocrity that people were trying to let into him and feed his head. And no one to this day is laughing at Julio Iglesias for passion. And that's what you have to cut out, the negative. And that's what you did. And you decided, you're a little stubborn. You're like me, I'm not going to accept this. And so that can help. Even stubbornness can get you through a difficult time. So I know what you said is going to resonate with people. So thank you. And somebody once said, I think it was Socrates or Plato, said that an undisciplined life is an insane life. So discipline is absolutely necessary when it comes to rising above mediocrity. And so once people understand that they can rise above mediocrity, they must know that they're rising above something. Therefore, there's levels now involved. And so we're talking about elevating our standards. You have to know there's another level. Can you talk a little bit to our audience about elevating your standards? Why is it important to elevate standards? Why not just be who, you know what I mean? Be normal, be small time.
You always have to challenge yourself and do better and better and better. For me, it's like, I don't want to get stuck. But also I have to be happy with what I have now. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to do better and better, So always continuing like that growth throughout whatever it is that you do. For me has been dance. I've loved dance, but I've always wanted to improve. So like I mentioned, I had to learn how to walk, and it was hard, but I went through it. And then I started in the level 1 dances, and I loved it. I had a good time there, but I was like, no, I want to do more and more and more. So I think that's the most important thing about this. You have to be ambitious, and you have to just want to rise and just do better every single day.
That's so incredibly true.
It's froze.
Yeah, and you had just froze too. I guess the audio, so it's okay. I think the video will just lag a little bit, but hey, if you're driving in the car, you have no idea what's happening on our screens right now. So that's fine. Can you still hear me, Jennifer? Can you still hear me?
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. I was like, what happened? Okay.
So that's going to resonate true. And it's always the same. There are those that strive to achieve another level, and then there are those that just sit around and accept life for what it is. But, it's been said that there's no circumstances in life. If you want circumstances that you want, you look for them. And if you don't find them, you create them. And that's true. You have to be a creator of your own passion in life. And sooner or later, your life, the universe will say, okay, we've had enough. She really wants this. Let her have it. Let her have it. We can break her leg, but it's not going to stop her. So, we give up, let her have her way. And that's what happens, especially when you pursue your passion. So the first two were just kind of like talking and prepping and getting ready. We're talking now about actually doing an active mental process of visualization. So every product, everything that's out there exists in a person's mind before it's an actual thing, right? So like a plane or a building or a house or a pier or a boat or whatever, it became an invention in somebody's head. And in order to lead your best life, I talk about visualizing, right? So have you done that? Has this served you? How can you talk about this?
Yeah,
Visualizing.
definitely. So I like planning things out. I don't do things just because. I mean, sometimes it happens, you know, like right now I'm working with my dance workout company called Jennifer Dance Workout that I've always thought of doing, but I've just never had the time. My friend was telling me the other day, hey, Jenny, you're a really good dancer and you should do your own thing. I would love to join you. And you know what? That's something that's always been in the back of my head, but I've just never had the time to do it. But in times like these that we have it's quarantine, I was like, you know what? It's a perfect time. But that's exactly what I do with everything in life. I plan things out. I have goals that I want to achieve. Yes, maybe I'm not doing them right now, but it's something that definitely I want to do. I visualize myself. I say, that's something I want to do. I want to have a clothing line. I want my brand to be out there. Like I literally say these things every single day. I'm a dreamer. I dream about this. You know, I'm like, I want my name to be out there. Like I want my dance workout company for everybody to know. So I just picture myself having so many clients, having so many people in my classes. I just picture myself like that, you know, at night, like whenever I have like a free time, I'm just thinking of all of this. And I say to myself, if I've achieved, you know, becoming a Dolphins cheerleader, why not achieve other things? So that's the motivation. That's the mentality that we have to have. If you've done things, of course you can do other things, you know, but it's really important just to make it a goal and do it, not just have it there, you know?
Yeah, it takes an active process to be able to get to where you want to be in life. And losers will visualize the penalties of failure, but winners will visualize the rewards of success. And so success comes by attraction. It's not something people can go and get. You cannot buy success. What you can buy is yourself, your visualization of where you could and what you could achieve. And it doesn't matter what happens outside. It doesn't matter what people think of you is none of your business. In order to achieve your dream, you have to visualize yourself in that dream. And I tell people, listen, if you don't like the movie, go rewrite. You're writing the script. You're the hero of the show. You're the director. You're the producer. You are the actor or actress. Go write yourself a blockbuster, But a lot of people don't do that because they haven't even made the first two steps of realizing where they are. Awareness is a big thing. So thank you for that too. It's important to write those goals down and to be able to visualize, and it's been said that 15 minutes of visualization is a lot more productive than 16 hours of hard labor. So which would you rather do if you want to accomplish something? I want to see myself for 15 minutes doing something, or as opposed to feeding 16 hours of hard labor, feeding somebody else's dream, right?
Yes.
Your brand, and I have something else for you too. You're gonna be a motivational speaker. You're gonna speak to audiences and inspire and motivate people. So you can put that on your new website. And but there's people that believe in themselves, but there's also people. What you said, one of your friends said you should be doing this. Sometimes it takes a supportive relationship to be able to have someone pour into you and see something about yourself. So that's something that I like to tell our listeners too. And my guests already know that, they already surround themselves with positive people because that's how they got to where they are, So that's perfect. And thank you for that. I want to talk about the last two. They kind of meld together, but it's really talking about doing the active step of living your potential. A lot of people may rise and then they may elevate and then they may visualize, but they have to overcome something to be able to get to a point where they're actually staying true. They're living their best life. Talk a minute about that. Living up to your highest potential.
I mean, it's just being consistent. It's not giving up, Sometimes it's going to be really hard. But it's like you can't let anything or anyone let you down or say no to your goals and your things, So I mean, it's just working hard, not giving up, being constant, disciplined. I don't know what else to say.
I like that because if anything out of you, you're disciplined and consistent with your approach towards your dream. And that's what it takes. Success over a long period of time towards a dream, it takes consistent action over and over. It's not, if you, most people look at what they could possibly do and they're overwhelmed. They say, and this is why they don't try, is because it's too large of a dream, maybe. But that's how you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time. If you can't do everything, just do a little bit.
Little by little.
Little by little, that's repeated actions, which turns into a, like the snowball going down the mountain, and it's creating energy and force that pushes people towards their dream. But it's kind of sad that there's a lot of unfulfilled potential. And I want you to think back. Have you ever watched cartoons as a little girl? You ever watch Peanuts? Snoopy. The little dog.
Yeah, Snoopy.
Snoopy. The inventor of Snoopy was Charles Schultz, and he's quoted as saying that there's no heavier burden than an unfulfilled potential. Can you imagine a world without Snoopy?
Oh my gosh. No,
around, it's hard to, and if he didn't realize and fulfill his potential, the world would not know Snoopy and Charlie Brown. But everyone has potential, and Jennifer, if you never pursued your passion for dancing, the Dolphins would have had a captain of the cheer squad, those troops. And I want you to talk real quick about giving back. All right. So purpose for your potential. Your passion was dancing, and it was being a cheerleader. But talk about how good you felt when you went overseas and you were able to spread cheer to those military installations all over the world.
It was incredible. Honestly, just making it to the team was insane. And I didn't think I was going to be doing so much, especially like you mentioned, giving back to the community. It's just within cheerleading and dancing, that together brought me other things, better things, like interacting with the troops in the military. I've been all over the world, and it's just that feeling that you get, that emotion, that bond when you talk to people, and that interaction is just, you can't change that. It's so special, and I wouldn't want to never, have that contact with that person. So when you do something that you love and you give back, people receive it in a really good way, and that makes you feel even better. So yeah, I love what I do, and it's good when you feel like that, when you feel like other people like it too. When you do something that you like, automatically other people are gonna like it, because you're doing it from good, it comes out from good heart, So yeah.
Saying that says, if you like what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, right? But
yeah,
there's a quote by Oprah Winfrey. I always struggle trying to say her name, but she says, there's no paycheck equal to the feeling of contentment,
exactly,
the person that you were meant to be. I wouldn't imagine you to be anything other than what you are. It wouldn't make sense to me. And I want to say thank you for who you are. And I want to say thank you for your time. And I want to say thanks to my listeners today, and tell them and remind them that, and I'm just going to wrap this up. Do you have any other further you'd like to put on for the show? Or?
I'm very good. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Just stand by. I'm going to click off in just a minute, but go and follow up Jennifer Chang on social media, and for her efforts of Jennifer Dance workouts. For those of us that are staying put in quarantine, this is a great way to get active and get fit. But I want to remind our audience that life is not found between the isms and the schisms of life. And it's time that we all just go all in with our dreams. And it's time to quit the paralysis of analysis, to decide and stay disciplined, like Jennifer says, to your decisions. And then the universe will unfold for you. So thank you for your time again, Jennifer.
Thank you.
See you soon, okay?
All right.